Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about
the General Handbook 2021, and as you can see it's quite different from the usual. First of thing, it's divided in three different parts. The General Handbook itself, that it's always quite useful. This that it's the picture battle profiles, so the new points for all the army that's been released about Age of Sigmar. So all the ones you can find the new points here, so this is quite important. And this one that it's with these that are objective markers, so they are really quite useful eventually to use. It's double phase, so there are different ways to use. And these that are battle tactics, you can consider them as secondary objectives, and we'll see better later. Still, it's quite nice because you can take off from this one, so you can push them out and use, and they are double phase with different ones in front and in the rear, so not worry, it's quite interesting. So we can put this aside and talk about the General Handbook itself. And about the General Handbook 2021, you can find something different, and it's the size, because if you compare with the previous one, you can find that it's a bit the half of it. Still, it's much more portable, this one, so it's quite interesting that way. And it recall this, that it's the one for the Warhammer 40k, so the idea is the same, but it's better this one, and we'll see quite soon. But why you should use such one and instead put here instead of using your core book? First thing, cause the core book it's heavy, quite heavy. This is much more usable and so on, so it's better in that way. So just for this, it's something that you should take note and think about if you are going outside to play, to use this one instead of the core book. Moreover, if you bought Dominion and you had the limited edition core book, so you don't want to ruin it, that could be quite not a good thing. Anyway, so we can open this and we can do such one. I like a lot because this thing let you do this, so it's really quite nice to do, and it's much more solid than the one about the Warhammer 40k, and I like. Here we can find so the contents, then we can find this, and based on here you can understand that it's made on seasons. It means that each season we see some of the rules change, and so you have to understand that if you're going to buy about the upgrade, you'll find that these ones are the same and change only some minor things. So you have to think about to buy each time the ones that you're interested about. As for example, I haven't bought the new one about the Warhammer 40k because I had the previous one and I was not interested to buy the new one. Still, it can be quite interesting because there is some background related about, and it can be quite nice. And one thing that I liked a lot is this. As you can see here, you can find these tongues that let you change and move to the next one or to the previous one without any problems. And I like a lot because it's much more comfortable to search what you need without to have to remember the page. Okay, you have the index eventually, but it's much more comfortable in such a way, so quite nice in that way. And then we can see something, and here are the rules for the pitch battles, so for the normal games that you are going to play. So we have the way to create your army, and then we have the rules for the realms. In this case we are playing with Gur, so we have the Gur rules and core battalion related to Gur, so we have all the rules that are, so we have to add this core battalion to the ones that we are seeing in the core book itself. So remember about this because it's quite important. And then we have that, if we move on, we have these that are the grand strategies. So you have to choose, usually before the battle start, when you create your army, one of such strategies. You can think about it as a sort of main objective that you have to do, so it can be quite interesting. And then we have the battle tactics that we have seen before, that are these ones that are secondary objectives. You can't never repeat them, and you have the turn that you select these to make it. So it means that it's turn, not your turn. So it means your and your opponent one. So it's a bit more usable in that way. And then we can move. And here we can find this, that it's a nice thing, because it's a way to report what you made. So the objective and so on that you conquered, the points that you made. And it's a nice way to do in this way, because you can eventually make a photocopy about this. And it's much more comfortable to remember the options. Usually I do something like this manually, but it's a good scheme to have this one yet prepared, so nice. Here it's a way to make you understand what it meant to be ready for battle miniatures, so you can understand what it means to use painted models. And here we had the battle pass. Remember that these battle pass are different from the ones, the usual ones from the core book. And so we have this, that it's the scheme of the battle plan, so how you can deploy the things, and here the rules. And here you have a better one, a sort of summary of this one, so you can have better when you go to see, because this one is quite small eventually, and here you have more detailed one. And you have 6 of them, so it's quite interesting eventually to play. I have not yet tried them, but I think that they are quite nice. Anyway, I have a thing to explain better, and it's that you have 6, because your opponent has other 6, because you roll a die and your opponent do the same, and the one that win, if you win, you choose the first 6, and the opponent the other 6. So it can be quite interesting, because you don't have 6 to choose, but 12, but you have to pay attention, because you are not sure with the 6 that you are going to choose from. Can be quite interesting in that way. I like quite a lot of this way to play with. And here we have this, that it's a little about the publication that you have available. So if you go to see, you can find that there are not anymore available the Malign Sorcery, the Forbidden Power, and the Malign Portents eventually. So only these ones are available. And here we have the Endless Pass update. So you have not anymore to use the Malign Sorcery and the Forbidden Power books, because the rules has been updated, because the things that you can see here are all the spells that are related about the Malign Sorcery box and the Forbidden Power one, so all the new updated spells. So the spells are still available, and we'll see in the future if they'll publish something like new as boxes, or they will be the same ones eventually available, but the books will not be anymore usable other than the background eventually, because the other things that are inside those books are not anymore valid as rules. Anyway, if you want to see about the unboxing of the Malign Sorcery and the Forbidden Power, you can find them in the description. And I think that anyway it's quite interesting that there's been updated. And here we can find all the rules that we've seen before, and it's quite interesting that you can find those. So I say that it's better that you don't go to use such ones eventually. I mean the core book one, because you have these ones eventually available. And I have to say one thing about, and it's that if you're going to play the match play, you have a problem, and it's that the battalions are available only as the core battalions themselves. There is a rule here in the beginning that make that if you go to play with here, you can't use the worst core battalions, and you can only use eventually the core battalion 1. So it's a bit a pity, because one thing that it was interesting as rules for the books, the battletones, it was the worst core battalions. Instead now they are not anymore available if you go to play some tournaments with this season at least. Remember that we are talking about season. So that way it's a bit a pity. Anyway, it's something that it's quite interesting that has been put everything here. And then here we have the index, so everything is together. And sincerely I like a lot this way, because here we have also the rule reference, that it's a way to have a sort of fast way to have a reference about the rules, so you don't have to search for, but you have these main rules available here, and I think that it's quite good as option. So So what to say about this General Handbook 2021? I think that it's quite worth. It's up to you to decide if you want to buy it because you need or not, or if you want each time it's being released an upgrade about this mission pack, if to go to buy another one or not. It's up to you. Still, I think that at least the first one, it's good, because it allows you to have a lot of things. The core book, that it's easy to bring with you, so it's quite nice. It give you also a way to make a sort of consulting the things that are always nice. There is the upgrade about the endorsed, that if you are going to use about the general part of the endorsed, not of your army, because for that one there are the facts and so on eventually about the upgrade. So it's quite nice, and really it's comfortable, usable, and useful. So nice. Anyway, from Dynamod it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.